A U.S. company, through her Nigerian founder, has devised a means to accelerate ideas and innovation into products without requiring interested founders to commit much resources in seeing their ideas from ideation to a full product. Softcity Inc., a subsidiary of indigenous Softcity Group, has set aside a strategic pool of funds for nurturing ideas into maturity. Stephen Oniya, founder and CEO of Softcity Group, joins us now to speak on his company's initiative. It's good to have you with us, Stephen.
Good to have you too.
All right. So why is it difficult to find Nigerian-based investors investing in startups, you think?
Okay, I don't think the problem is finding them. The problem is getting their interest in your business. They're everywhere, but they are very, I don't want to use the word risk averse, and also because they are very conscious of the market, the way they operate. The way a foreign investor would think they understand the market by data, but they don't feel it. A local investor understands it by data, but also feel the pain of our market risk, inflationary risk, political risk. So they are more careful and cautious with the way they put in funds into startup, not as if they're not there. You can find them, yeah.
So can it also be seen as a lack of structure on the part of the investors as well?
I would want to put lack of structure as a secondary point, because the influences and the fear of losing investment that these local investors have is more geared because of ease of doing business climate. So because whether you're an investor, no matter where you play in the startup ecosystem, you are still going to find yourself putting funds into playing any role in the ecosystem, whether as an accelerator, angel investor, venture capitalist, or an incubator. So regardless of what you play, you are still conscious of your funds coming back to you with a little bit of increase. So I don't want to say they don't have structures, because I know some local investors here that are fantastic. They have good structures. They have the system in place to nurture, grow, and make ideas become long-term sustainable businesses. So we have founders, we have structures like that. So I don't want to think it's lack of structure.
So let's take a look at specifics. Now, a subsidiary of Softcity does an annual program assisting startups to be established. So in this regard, what are the prospects and challenges here, you think?
Okay, thank you for that. Well, this program we're talking about actually is Softcity Accelerate program. It's more of a program where we accelerate ideas into minimum viable product that can go into the market and test the waters. Now, we've had situation with so many founders. I also need to make a point. The concept of startup is not a tech thing alone. Okay. There are businesses that are tech-driven, and there are those that are tech-enabled. Now, the tech-enabled business are not the traditional tech businesses you know. They're the business like a restaurant that all they need is probably a point-of-sale systems, or an accounting system, or a book management, bookkeeping record system. So these are the kind of things you find in some other businesses. Now, what we are doing with Softcity Accelerate is reduce your time to market, whether you want to be a tech-driven business or a tech-enabled business. It's simple. You just tell us what you want to achieve. Instead of you having to go save off one large sum of funds to build your tech-driven product or to implement your tech-enabled solution, either of the two, we come in, we subsidize that for you with our strategic pool of funds, which is basically from our US entity. That's the Softcity Inc. From Softcity Inc.'s pool of funds we have from our US partners, we would invest in that idea you have with our funds, and we'll build the relationship with you to nurture, grow you over time, technology-wise. So we don't only drive business that want to be squarely technology-driven business. We also enable businesses that, but you have to be a startup. That's just the way we see it.
So what is the best advice you might have for founders or, startups that are interested in the Softcity Accelerate program?
Thank you. First, you have to share our vision. Our vision for a Nigeria where, yes, we are being called emerging startup economy now, but the truth is we have a long way to go. If you look at the way our urban and rural distribution is, the ratio is almost getting the rural population is declining because people are migrating to the urban population, to the urban settlement, and yet we are still close to 50% rural. Now, what you see with technology ecosystem we currently have, we are serving the bulk of the urban settlement. Now, we are looking for people who share the vision of Nigeria. Founders that you come to us and you want to do something, and you're not looking for a short-term strategy to make money in 3 years, 4 years, and exit. We are looking for founders that have long-term, that can build a legacy business. The fear we have now with the current system we have, with the whole startup world we've been using here and there, is we have businesses that are not built to last. Even there was an article in Fortune in 2014 that says 90% of startup world ultimately die. Now, we want businesses that will be built to last for the future of Nigeria. So what we want, the kind of founders we want is you have to have nationwide integrity and professionalism. If you have that in you, just tell us what you want to achieve in your startup business, whether as a core product, as a software product, or as an enabling product. We will build, deploy, and implement for you, and we will support you with a relationship so that you don't have to bring your hard-earned cash or saved cash right now to invest in that product. We'll take you live, we'll take you to the market, then work together to guarantee your success.
You know, this is all very interesting, as it were, but there's also the issue of government policies when you talk about the ecosystem and the financial transaction, as it were. So, in the ease of doing business in this regard, where or how has the government been able to, been proactive, or as it were? Well, what do you make of that scenario?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the government have done it all, but they've been making efforts. To be very, because I know the startup ecosystem seems to be like the juicy ecosystem everybody's talking about. So I'm not surprised the government are paying attention. I'm not surprised. Okay. But it's one thing, we are used to starting and not finishing well. So I'm not too excited. I'm just not surprised they are paying attention. In the industry that brings in millions of dollars into the country, everybody will pay attention. You know, all the seed funding, the series funding we've had unicorns in our country. They will pay attention. But with this effort and the attention they are paying now, is going to be tested by the long-term result it achieves. That's we're going to test it. So we are not surprised that they are paying attention, because there's a lot of money flowing here and there. But we are not telling us how this money are taken out of the country, because the truth is every money that comes in here, $250 million here, you have $4 million here, those money will leave eventually. They are not here to stay forever. It's someone's investment. So we need to know what the government is doing to prevent having a state in the future where we'll be back to square one. And if you look at the growth we've had in the startup ecosystem in tech, I can use tech now, and look at the growth we have in the economy. They're not pari passu. The economy is not growing pari passu with this so-called influx of funds we are having. So there's a lot to be done by the government, but I don't want to be too excited about the fact that they're paying attention with the startup bills. But we need to me, if I was to give my personal opinion, I stand to be corrected. The country needs to empower SMEDAN. The government needs to empower SMEDAN. That's the Small, Medium, and Enterprise Development. They are the organization, entities saddled with controlling, monitoring, and bringing out strategic policy ideas for the ecosystem. So I won't be surprised everybody's talking about this ecosystem because of the money flowing here and there. It's easy to talk when you see money, but when we see the long-term strategies and all the things you've done and we see results, we will praise you.
Okay. Well,
if I may just
ask a follow-up question. It's one thing to have your group and groups like yours operate within a particular system. Now, has there been some kind of a formal meetings with the government itself on the ease of doing business, so that all stakeholders can come to the table? Okay, this is how we operate, and this is what you can do to help us, proceed better.
On a very personal note for us now, I don't want, because this kind of meetings, stakeholders, deliberations, stakeholder consultation has been ongoing for a while. I'm sure you've heard about the co-creating a startup bill, where they say it's going to be co-created by stakeholders in the industry and government. So basically, there's been lessons trying to manage how do we make progress, how do we go from where we are to where we want to be. But for us, we rather work with larger stakeholders, because we are a business primarily, and we are headquartered here in Nigeria. Now, yes, our US entity is putting a steady pool of funds to empower and accelerate ideas into products, but that does not mean we are still not a business, because we have a relationship with government at almost every level as of today. But the very fact for us that will determine the future of the startup ecosystem, I personally don't believe the government to be too involved. Build an economic system, a business climate that is resilient, and the model that can sustain business in the long term. Once you've done that, the rest is history. You don't need to get directly involved with the startup ecosystem. I even feel the whole startup bill is an overshot. If the environment is good, I don't like where we model everything we do after Silicon Valley, which is like the parent, the standard for this whole startup investment, venture capitalism. Now, we are a unique economy, we're a unique country, a unique people, unique problems. So I want us to come together and to solve our problems uniquely, and not government getting fully involved, because there's disadvantage to a government that is too involved in the startup ecosystem. The fear of expropriation will come in. The fear of arbitrary termination of contracts will come in. The fear of confiscatorial actions on taxes, on accounts will be there. So people don't want government to be too involved in the startup ecosystem. Fix the economy, fix the business climate, and everything will fall in place.
How do you build the capacity or funds, to support the product in such a short timeline?
Thank you. This is not our first time of doing Softcity Accelerate, of embarking on the Softcity Accelerate program. We've done it before. We have people that will come with ideas, we build over a period of a month, 2 months, and it's a product. Some people come with a business that is a year, when I say this is what we are lacking, accelerator with your technology, and we accelerate. Now, we've been in business for 13 years. So we're not new. But the US entity is now where we are pulling the funds from to accelerate ideas for people who don't have the funds and resources to either build it. Because on a daily basis, we get requests from who would want to be founders that are still at their ideation stage and tell us, we have this idea, I want to build into a product. And by the time they hear the cost of building a product, they say, well, and I've seen dreams shattered just for the very fact that you don't have the funds to. I've seen businesses that thrived for a year, 2 years collapse simply because they don't have systems in place, like POS system, like customer management system, account systems. They don't have any, just things that can help them make decision-driven, data-driven decisions in an uncertainty era. Because we're in an uncertainty era, whether we like it or not. So we don't have this. So once we can do that, we have the pool of funds coming from our US entity. For us, we have the capacity to, there's nothing you want to be. We've been in business for years. We've been existing for a while, and we have the capacity to build, implement, and deploy. So it's just complementing ourselves with our US entity and Nigerian HQ.
No, very good. 13 years in business, as it were. What has been the response of those you're setting out to help out? And what will be, because you're in it for the profit as well. Mm-hmm. So what has been the relationship like and the response from those that have those startup mentality, as it were?
To be very frank with you, it's been a mixture of good and bad. Good and bad. Because I will give you 3 scenarios. We've had founders that came to us, let me give you 2019, for example. That was the period where we had quite a significant number of people join the Softcity Accelerate program, the one we did in 2019. We've been doing before then, and we're still doing. 2020, we didn't do at all because of COVID. We didn't attempt the Softcity Accelerate program at all. Now, we've had founders that will come to you. They tell you, I have this idea, I don't have the money, or I have half of it. Accelerate me. You guys invest your funds in my idea and build it for me. And we build, and the product is ready in like a month or 2 months, worst case scenario in 4 months, and we are expecting you to go live. We handle the technology for you, and you take care of the business, and you just make a product that will create employment opportunities in the economy. Now, we've had founders that will do that, and they see their first shot at opportunity to make money, and they abscond. We've had partners that deliberately want to break the contractual agreement they have with us because they see the business now have more potential after we accelerated to that state. So, and we've also had founders that till date, their business are still running. They still have the resources, we put them still functional. So basically, they are different, a mixture of good. But what we do, we don't do it we do it for the business, but not primarily for the money. Doing for business, we have strategic objective, tactical objective, and operational approach. But for us, we are doing it for the business, because if we have to focus on getting all the pool of funds we've invested in people's idea back, there are too many cases in court, and we are not down for that. So,
are you excited or nervous about what the next administration has to offer when it comes to startups?
I am nervous. I am nervous, but my nervousness is in check with what we are expecting in 2023. With the next administration is we've not seen the cabinet. We've not been exposed to the crop of people that will determine the future of this country, at least for the next 4 years. And neither have we elected our president. So we are all nervous, hoping we all get our PVC and we all vote and we all put the right person there and trust that person to appoint the right people in the arms of affair to make sure this progress we've made so far in the startup ecosystem does not go into a state of decline. So I'm not too excited because I've been in this industry for 18 years now, and trust me, I've seen policies fail. I've seen government have so much starting energy and no finishing results. So really, those things, mixture of all, they just let you look at 2023 with hope, knowing the process to a successful Nigeria after 2023 is PVC, vote, then we trust that wherever we've decided to be our leader in 2023 will not cause a decline in the industry.
Okay, so in this scenario, the parent company, you said is in the US. So how
the parent company is in the Softcity Group.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So how do they actually monitor that? Okay, the clients that have the ideas and, they actually follow up and make sure you set their challenges that some would actually achieve what they're supposed to. And at one point you need to, resort to litigations to get your money back, your investment. So how do you go about doing all of that?
To be very frank, we've experienced litigation in the past. And it wasn't a
I know, because it's one thing to pool your resources into this. Your expectations are high.
You can spend a whole year trying to get your money back if you have to resort to litigation. So we resort to mediation rather than litigation, and we have some control in place because it's something we've been doing for years. We've had a system in place where the process of even applying is very official. You do the application. We have a panel that will screen your business idea or your business for bankability, commercial viability. We will screen it. We will screen your vision for long-term sustainability. Are you scalable? Are you experimenting with a business model that can impact the economy positively? Will you create employment? Do you have a chance to scale into other countries with these ideas you have in front of us? There are so many things the panel will evaluate. But eventually, when we put in the funds and we build your product, you are live for your product, we can only trust you as a person and trust the contract you have with us to at least perform for a while, or if at all you want to close down or force your company to a state where it's no longer existing. If at all you want to do that, you respect the contractual terms and obligations you have with us as being your accelerator. Simple for us, but we don't want to go to court with anybody.
All right, very good. On that note, Stephen Oniya, founder, CEO of Softcity Group. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
As always.